Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back with Arashi and Burger King for the IESF Europe Region Qualifier 2024. But last but not least, for today, we have a very exciting match. It's Serbia going up against Turkey. Once again, it's a David versus Goliath situation where Serbia is by all means a newer region, and Turkey on the opposite side is actually a lot more experienced. And we saw just yesterday how different of a gap that experience can kind of show in the Land of Dawn. And considering the results of the first match, I think a lot of people definitely have Turkey as the favorites. But if you are a supporter of the Serbian team, you can't lose hope, man. It's never over until it's really over.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna. With that being said, right, Ukraine is going to WEC, so congratulations to Ukraine's women's MLBB team. They were going to be moving forward and going to Riyadh this year, but for Serbia and Turkey, this is going to be a placement match, a seeding match. So we'll have to find out, right? And based on the performances for the past 2 days, Arashi, I think it's safe to say that Turkey, again, pretty much like Ukraine, they are a little bit more, familiar, a little bit more exposed to the game and have a lot more tournaments and have a lot more resources to take in. Whereas Serbia is that growing region. So we'll have to find out how they will adjust, knowing that this next matchup is also going to be another BO3 that we will witness.
Another BO3 where the momentum is definitely important, but we saw adjustments being able to be made. And in the previous match, we even saw a bit of that adjustment, right? Immediately after the first game's result, you saw changes in the drafts, you saw changes in the execution in the Land of Dawn as well. So teams are definitely wisening up to the factors that are outside of the game itself. But of course, in the end, it becomes about the execution, right? In the Land of Dawn. And we know that Turkey can do so very proficiently. And for Serbia, they have to come up with something quite different, quite surprising right here. And considering that there's a lot of eyes on Turkey already, I feel like they really should kind of have a preemptive strike ready. If they want to wait until the first game's result to try and get a read onto Turkey, I feel like it's going to be so difficult and so unreliable, right? I feel like they have to try and start something now, right? Push Turkey on the back foot when possible. But speaking of Serbia, let's take a look at their roster right now, who is going to go up against Turkey. Going to be Kirby, Kisame, Bambi, Lena, and Jolie.
Okay, you guys have already seen them yesterday, and I'm sure who Arashi is eyeing here as well when it comes to the IGNs. But, jokes aside here, Serbia pulled off a lot of, I would say, uncontemporary picks yesterday. Something a lot of people, wouldn't see in the meta. We've seen a Popple and Koopa from Jolie, a little bit more standard coming out from, their EXP and their mid-roam. But Kirby is that type of player that also goes for, like, really more of the fighter type of junglers, pretty much like the team of Belarus, right? Relaxa and Mommy, she goes more for like the Exborgs, the Leomords, those types of heroes here. And I think for Serbia here to go up against Turkey, again, you have to pull up something different under your sleeves, right? Because there's just so much to take in here for Turkey. They're so adapted they've adapted well into the meta. They just know how to counter pick. So for Serbia, they really have to bring all their cards out here for today.
And bring out some of those unique strategies that we haven't really seen, right? I think Serbia, last time we saw them, they were quite interesting ideas on display on the table. So if they have any more of those left right here that Turkey perhaps aren't familiar with and they haven't seen just yet, this is time to bring it out, because up against them today, it's none other than Turkey.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look at Turkey's lineup here that will be going up against Serbia. You guys have seen them yesterday. Uno, Hana, Mireya, Priceless, Miko, and Nora here that they will be playing under the Turkish banner. And what can I say about this team, Arashi? It's just they're just really good, right? They pulled off a draft with an Amon, I believe, yesterday, and it worked out well for them. They also did some adjustments in the last game that they've had yesterday and also worked out. I have to highlight the XP laner here once again. So in the first series that we've had up against Belarus and Ukraine, it was Molly that really stood out in her lane, that really was able to create that pressure in the early game and really disrupted the rotation there of Belarus. And I think this could exactly be the same case for Unohana. She's also, put out or fielded out a Benedetta, a Yuzong. So I
Hmm.
think these power picks, or rather some of these very aggressive XP laners, is something that the side of Serbia has to watch out for.
And you're seeing the pattern, right? With these very experienced teams, the EXP laner is always so much more active from the beginning, right? In the laning phase, in the mid game to try and secure a snowball and rotations, and even in the late game where, depending on the hero you're given, you can serve a wide variety of roles. On the EXP lane, you can go for engages, you can go for pickoffs, you can kind of go for peel technically to save your backline. But even then, in the end, it all comes down to your decision making in a split second for all these moments. And unlike a lot of these other roles, technically, the EXP lane is always intense all the way from the beginning, right? If you're on the gold lane, there's a bit of that farming mindset mentality. If you're in the jungle, then there's jungle clearing where things aren't really happening, right? Where you can kind of take it easy, especially mentally when you're trying to calculate the possibilities and all that. In the XP lane, it's always something going on, right? It's always your lane opponent. There's more risk because generally the junglers don't always have a chance to kind of roam to the top side. They would want to make plays in the gold lane instead. You have to think about the timing for you to clear your wave so you can rotate to the mid lane or rotate for a gank. You have to decide whether you want to cut the waves or do you want to just clear in the lane or perhaps even freeze it to try and get a solo kill. So the EXP lane is definitely a lane that really shines when you have a player with a lot of experience in that seat. So I think for Turkey, we're definitely gonna see Unohana show out, do a lot of amazing plays for sure. And again, funny enough, we talked about the Japanese names from both teams. It's basically like a war between two big franchises. I don't
Oh
know if you're
man,
familiar, Kim.
Arashi is like geeking out here again with all the IGNs. But hey, you know what? Not too familiar with that, but let's keep it at that for
Oh,
Arashi. And I was like, gonna be all the more excited for that. My library of anime is not as in depth as Arashi, so I'm gonna leave it up to you for that one. But
hmm,
I get what you're pointing out here too. For Serbia and Turkey matchup, it's the XP lane, and I think that's what they say, right? One is the loneliest number, and I think for XP laners, there's a lot to do. Like there's a lot of to-do list for you, right? Like you have to be sure that you're the first one who clears out the wave. You have to exchange blows with your opponent in your lane, and you have to make sure that you win that lane, because if you don't, your jungler and your entire team is really going to have a hard time, especially when securing in that first objective. So the rotations are really going to get disrupted there, especially once that XP lane crumbles. That's why you see a lot of these teams, a lot of the players, especially both in the men's and women's division, they really prioritize that XP lane. Especially in the drafting phase, they go for it like in the first pick, never really the last pick, not unless that was the tempo that was made, right? But most of the time you see in the matchups like a lot of the Terizlas, a lot of the Yuzongs, the heroes that have that level 4 game changing ultimate when it comes to the turtle fight.
definitely the level for power spike becomes a big factor here. And it's not just for the EXP lane only. It's also for the jungler, the mid lane, the roam. Especially if you have an aggressive roamer, if you have like a Minotaur. It's a huge difference between level 3 and level 4 for a Minotaur. And that's why some of these mid lanes, they kind of really shine earlier on due to the strength before level 4. Because technically, if you can dictate the pace before level 4, then you can get to level 4 first, right? And when you get to level 4 first, you rotate first, and yada yada yada. It's all a snowball effect. We talk about snowballing as if it's always about getting a lot of kills. But the small things in the game, the difference in gold, the difference in EXP, difference in farm and positioning, difference in movement speed. These are all small factors that snowball quite literally to big moments in the game. And that's why the casters are here sometimes to just highlight those moments a bit more to ensure that you really get the great big scope of what actually is happening in the Land of Dawn right here. Because in the professional level, in the ranked games, there's going to be big moments as well. But on the professional level, we've been seeing some matches today even where the kills are kind of low, right? And that's because a lot of these quote unquote maneuvers and plays are just that much more subtle. So you don't really see it result in a big kill or a big massive combo. But you just notice that, man, one of these teams is always first, is always on top, always has more control, has better reads. It's all those small things.
Yeah, while you were like saying all of that, Arashi, I just got really
Monologuing.
curious to what you were. No. I was super curious to what you were referencing, and then I googled it, and I'm like, oh, okay. And interesting enough that I actually only caught 2 episodes
Of what?
of you're referencing Naruto, right? Am I right? Am I right?
Yes.
Am I
For
right? Am I right?
Kisame.
You know,
Absolutely.
I've I've only ever watched 2 episodes.
That's
There you go.
crazy.
Yeah, I
How?
know. I don't even know, right? I've tuned in and I was like, man, this is great. No, I actually liked it, right? Like I followed it like for 2 episodes, and then I don't know what happened. It just didn't like catch up. But that was like not even like the start of like the season, right? It was like midway already, so it was super blurry already. So I was like, that's why I couldn't get your reference. I was like, which one? The only ones I know are
I
like
see.
Naruto and Sakura, because it's super obvious because Naruto main character, also the title
How
of
is
the
it
anime, and
possible?
Sakura because she has like pink hair, so that's the one that stands out. So yes, I don't know. It just I never I actually never caught like a lot of these like big three animes. Like that's one, right?
Mm.
Naruto, then One Piece, and then Bleach. So those three I've never watched.
Ding, 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 ding. That's it.
Well, right after
That's the
this, we
reference I
have
was
so
talking
much time,
about.
right?
Because
Yeah,
Uno Hana is
yeah, that one I know. I'm
watch a.
familiar with that. But I
Oh,
will not
okay.
get
I
the
see.
references. There you go. Just
Got you.
in case you throw in some of those references in, because the only big one I've ever watched and really, really rewatched even several times was like Full Metal Alchemist. Can't believe we're like talking about
Ooh,
anime here on this.
respect,
Full Metal
respect. I
Brotherhood,
mean,
man.
it's a
Has to
great
be Brotherhood.
franchise.
Brotherhood. And I'm looking forward to all of these too, because like a lot of these anime skins are coming up, right? Like for everybody who has been playing the
Mm-hmm.
game. To name
Mm-hmm.
a few, like the more recent animes, like Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titans, the big ones in the recent years. So those I've watched. But here, going into the draft, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. It's gonna be the Zushin, the Roger, and for the side of Turkey, it's gonna be the Zask and the Hylos.
Watch us highlight all these IGNs and saying, "Oh, it's a Naruto reference, it's a Bleach reference," and then they'll hear this, they'll watch the
I see
broadcast and
why
be like,
you're geeking out though. I'm
Wait
like,
a minute. Like, no, it's not a Naruto reference. It's not a Bleach reference. Turns out the casters are just weeps. That would be hilarious if that turns out to be the case. There's no connection whatsoever. It's just a pure coincidence. But focusing back to the game, as you were saying, Kim, Valentina here banned out by Serbia quite early on as well. You see a good mix of strong mid laners. They can have good wave clear, and more importantly, good brawling in the early game as well, right? The Valentina and the Sushin both really do well at level 2 due to the way the kit works, with the Valentina having a lowered cooldown, technically getting a reset, having maneuverability
whoa,
tools as well. Out of nowhere, man.
wow.
Carmilla? Even before the chip and the Logi shows up, the Carmilla as a first pick here in this match.
Oh, I think because they know that the chip is gonna get picked out here. Chip Loyi perhaps could get picked out here for Turkey.
Hmm.
Or maybe even, you know what's gonna be even better here? Pick up like a Valentina, but hey, you know what? Never mind that. Let's not go for like, oh wait, the Valentina has been banned away. I actually thought that was another ban. My bad. So it's gonna be a Julian, and then for Serbia, it's actually really interesting though that they started it out this way. I think it's more of like them anticipating the chip pick, so they were willing to give that. Carmilla is also flexible. You've seen it from the side of Belarus early in the previous games that they've used it as a jungler. So I think
Mhm.
they're also considering that option. Very flexible, could be the roamer as well. And now Serbia, they have two playmaking heroes in the form of Carmilla and the Turizla. And the Clint again resurfaces here, Arashi. Any thoughts on this? Especially like this is looking really scary coming out from Turkey. You got dives, you got the portal, you got the Yuzong, just all of those things coming out of that portal is going to be really scary, especially for a Clint that does, in my opinion, does not really have that much mobility when it comes to, marksman picks.
I think for Serbia, it's great that they have very solid frontliners, good amounts of crowd control as well. Considering that for Turkey, the fact that they have a chip in the first place generally, not always, but generally means that the team wants to go for surprise moments, right? For surprise engages and bring everyone through, and they would require burst damage in order to have enough damage to put Serbia already on the back foot, even from the beginning of the engagement. So the Julian and the Yuzong definitely plays into that, and the fact that there's a strong laner like the Yuzong with a chip around means that the Yuzong can very easily just stay in the lane, dominate, and then just participate in fights using the portal that you can enter, by the way, in the Black Dragon form. We've seen it happen before, which is hilarious, by the way. The way we saw it was there was a big team fight, and the Yuzong was chasing someone, and he was kind of wiggling through the air, and then he touched the portal and he just disappeared. Like
Is it?
the whole dragon just like went poof, which is hilarious. But we'll have to see for Serbia.
And that's
though.
how
I feel like they
dragons
wanna.
got extinct. It was the portal of the chip. No, because
I
people are like,
guess.
what happened to all the dragons? It's the portal of the chip. There you have it. The answers to why all of the dragons are gone. But kidding aside, I'm looking at the draft here of Turkey, and it's a little bit more like, okay, you kind of know like what type of combinations will come out of that portal. Serbia, on the other hand, though, already has the counter with the Turizla and the Carmilla. What I'm worried about is the Clint pick. It seems to be a priority even on the previous games. Arashi, is this like a comfort, or is there something I'm missing out on when it comes to like the Clint? I know it has great pokes, but there are a lot more marksmen in the current meta that will thrive in the gold lane. Like there was a time that yeah, Carrot, right?
Ooh.
Ixia carry, but this is a whole lot of transportation. If you're talking about only gas, then step on it. This is a lot of area that you can reach with this combination, and this is what I was looking for actually in the previous days. I was like, I think in the matches of like when the chip and the Loi were open, I think there was a time only like the chip and the Yuzong were picked up. So I was like, why not just pair up the Loi with all of that, right? Like, imagine how
Mm.
badass that was, getting in the diversion play, getting the Yuzong to have that Black Dragon form, and then divert to like either the Lord Pit. That is gonna be like an insane like outplay game changing maneuver that Turkey can actually do. So Serbia needs somebody to. Oh, I was thinking more of like frontline in the Rome. So this means that with the Matilda here being locked in by Serbia, this is a Carmilla jungle, like what I actually mentioned earlier, right? Super
Mm-hmm.
flex though, but I am lacking the front line here. I know the Matilda's like more of like having that additional shield, but how can you prepare for the storm that is Turkey right now with their first four picks? They still need that late
Claude.
game, and they seal the deal with the Claude. This is an insane amount of bursts if they really use all of their ultimates, all of their skills layered together so well. Diversion, portal. I don't know, Arashi. I'm feeling the draft here of Turkey, but I think for Serbia they already have the answer with the Carmilla. So is it enough with just the Carmilla and the Terizla and the Matilda to kind of like save the lives here of their damage dealers? That is the Clint and the Vixana.
I feel like with all the crowd control available, fights in general is going to be difficult for Turkey to come out on top of unless they've secured a great deal of early game lead. Especially with the Clint. I mean, we talked about this earlier. You were asking about what kind of value it brings. It's that long range, it's that burst damage, and it's also technically more security because compared to other, let's say like a Leslie with long range, you're still a bit more vulnerable compared to the Clint. And it's also strong laning, right? That's the whole idea of why I think the Clint shows up in the first place. The fact that he is now a stronger laner definitely plays more into that as well, a bit more even in that gold lane. But later on, the fact that Turkey are the ones that can actually go with the shortcut plays, they're the ones that can do unpredictable things with the diversion. That means that by default, kind of, Serbia will be on the back foot, always forced to kind of like think about where Turkey is going to be, how they're going to try and go for an engage. And usually in the highest level, right, where mere seconds can kind of swing, make or break the game, moments like that, having proactiveness usually gets you a massive advantage. So I think Turkey, I like their draft better here as well. And if you look at the mid lane, even having the Loyi means it can clear a lot faster too. So Vexana and Mathilda, definitely not as definitely won't be clearing as fast, but having the Vexana passive there will allow Serbia to at least keep up with the maneuvers, and hopefully for them, the Mathilda will be able to set up to try and win out in the 1v1 roam kind of showdown. And later on, it's gonna be the Mathilda's job, Kisame, to make sure that Jolie has a way out from these fights, because the main front lines, it doesn't have to be the Mathilda, right? The Terizla and the Carmilla are going to be very beefy on their own, unless, of course, they do fall that far back behind.
Yeah, there's a lot of ganks that can be made here. And my only worry for this Carmilla, apart from it, well, I don't really have to worry much about it. But the main problem is how can you set things up when you really have to be the one taking in the resources as well in the jungle? Kisame getting in the first
Oh,
blood. Kirby as well getting caught in between the rotation diversion combination here of the Loi. 2 kills for Turkey immediately. A nice attempt there though. Bambi as well, forced to back away from this one, and Turkey being a little bit aggressive here, knowing that they have a lot more of the playmaking capabilities and the potential to rotate faster than Serbia. They just keep on going here and just disrupting the farm here of Kirby.
that was an attempt there to go for the orange buff of the side of Serbia, but it's kind of thwarted almost immediately. And Maria was caught on a very sketchy spot there, getting kind of caught out 1v3 and actually getting stuck in the orange buff pit there. So you gotta be a bit more careful because again, Serbia has potential to make plays happen, but as long as Turkey makes the first move, as long as Turkey are able to go in, use some damage, expend some cooldowns, back away, and then come back in, they have a lot of advantage to really play around with right here. But look at this gank, 1v2 from Mieko.
Yep, half HP already. Use the Blazing Duet as well to clear out the lanes. Kind of smart though, before heading back into the base to get that HP. And with, of course, the only gas that Turkey has here, they're going to be able to speed up this turtle. Nora already starting it up for the team. Unohana as well doing a good job to contain Lina on the lane, clearing out the minion waves first before she can. And by the time Mireya comes here, the turtle's already at half HP. So it's already like super fast rotations. You can see it coming from the playstyle here as well of Turkey. They know just where to go every single time. And with the portals, with the Loyi, with the chip, they can just keep on doing this. The enhanced chase comes through. Kirby goes down. A triple picked up here by Unohana. And Serbia just too stunned to speak right now. They were in the middle of the turtle pit trying to farm. And right after that, they are just so proactive all throughout the map, Arashi. They get in through a portal and it's just over. They can go to anywhere basically in the map.
They get in and they get back out, and look at this damage. Blazing Duet aggressively from Mieko, taking down one member from the side of Serbia, and they're not done. Immediately just going and chasing, even after that pick-off attempt. The fact is that burst damage is just so insane from Turkey right now. The Lo Yi in combination with the Julian is already a fearsome fact. The fact that you add another layer with this Yud song and later on with that Blazing Duet. There's so many ways for Turkey to punish Serbia unless Serbia are in the right position, just expecting that engage. But how do you expect a double global play?
Yeah, double global play, but Bambi knew that for a fact. Spots in the diversion play and gets the Eternal Guard, but here comes the entire cavalry on the side of Turkey as Miko will be able to get that killing spree. Down goes Bambi and Kisame. Lina, the only one left to defend this one, is not even going to be able to make it. She does actually, but with the minion waves in, I think they're going to dive in for Lina, and she gets a maniac here for Turkey. Can you believe that, Arashi? That was under the turret of Serbia.
Out of nowhere, man. We went from a relatively slow-paced game. Boom, 12 kills for Turkey. And along with that, several structures, or at least one structure on the bottom lane, taken out. As the turtle spawns right here, Mireya actually goes for a play here in the jungle. Might be a bit too dangerous though, but the empowered sword lets her to get immune and get out of the situation. Expanding the circling eagle already means that Serbia can't really scout this. Free turtle for Turkey once more.
The playmaking capabilities are going to rely on the Terizla and Kirby, but now we
Oh.
see again, it is going to be Miko going in for the placing duet, but it's going to be a wrong turn! Gets baited out with an Eternal Guard, but now here comes the retaliation from the side of Turkey. The portal comes through, and they get the clap back here. Dives after dives after dives, and did you see that, Uno Hana? They thought they could have gotten her, but she went through the portal and out to safety. And now it's going to be Kisame, the one falling instead. The mind games here by Turkey is just absolutely insane. 2 turrets, 2 turtles, and I wouldn't be surprised if they, make in another sandwich play down bot. The penalty zone is also out, and Lina does not have the ultimate nor the flicker as Turkey again picks up kills after kills here in this game.
The nerves of steel from the side of Turkey, man. They are making all these risky plays like it's an easy thing to do, and it really isn't. Look at this now, going in the mid lane, immediately pressuring. Look at how Serbia is forced to position. They're already all the way behind their first turrets because they know that the first tier turret isn't giving them enough protection. They need to go even further back when there's even more safe zones. And looking at Miko, only the Corrosion Sight and the Demon Hunter Sword, not even the golden stuff, and she's going super aggressive.
Portal and the blazing duet from Miko again. It is enough to zone everyone out, and Nora gonna fall one by one. They get the lead here in this map, but there's some clapbacks here coming from the side of Serbia. 2 for the price of 1. They do have the answers, but now Uno Hana gonna be soaking up all of the damage. Can she make it? But up against 3 members here, Serbia again. They are trying to make the place. What is going on here from Turkey? A little bit too overconfident. Miko here as well, going in for the trades. Double kill for Miko. Retribution comes in here from Kirby. Oh, it does get the shutdown. It's the burning Retribution. Turkey just lost 3 members. It was, I think this time it was no longer a coordinated play here. Everybody went in one by one there, Arashi, and they just got outplayed there by Serbia.
They almost outplayed themselves. I mean, you saw how Miko and Mireya were playing. Usually it's an in and out all the time, but it's just an all in there. And once again, they're going
all
for
in.
it.
Okay, the Curse of Blood is there. Circling Eagle, but Kirby's gonna fall. Circling Eagle there by Kisame. We're gonna get bursted down there by Price as Lina as well, falling down low and staying down by Mireya. And just a cleanup work here by Miko, but Jolie gets taken down there as well by the enhanced chains. It's a wipeout here for the side of Serbia as Turkey gonna go in for the portal right in the middle of the Land of Dawn as they go straight for this Lord. And without that amount of unli gas and transportation throughout the Land of Dawn, Serbia's not gonna be able to reach this Lord in time. I think this is gonna be an uncontested one straight to Turkey once again. 4 turrets down and the Lord to boot for their side. If you look at the gold lead, it's 5k here, 4 to 5k almost for the side of Turkey. And with this Lord, Arashi, I think they should be able to push forward even. At least the second tier tower should be gone here.
If they can pull off something completely unexpected, I think Turkey can even go for an end with how aggressive they're playing. All these pickups have been made without Mireya using the empowered scythe. It's always the empowered chain that she's using here in the middle of these fights to get extra AoE and also to get more crowd control tools. Because in theory, on paper, for Turkey, there isn't a lot of big AoE engage tools. So if they can get a massive one and cycle the death timers, maybe it's gonna be quite dangerous for the side of Serbia as the Black Dragon form once more gets used by Uno Hana.
Uno Hana gonna be taking up everything. He's gonna be able to soak up all of the damage for the meantime, but the Curse of Blood is gonna be linking in for members. Oh wow, the shared damage is a little bit too much, but there's no damage, no follow-up as Lina gonna go try for the penalty zone, but instead gets penalized there by Turkey, and they still have the Lord on the middle. A double kill picked up here by Mireya again. And this just signals the fact that Serbia just can't go running freely here in this map because there's always somebody to do the cleanup work, as Kisame even can't go in for the circling eagle here because it's just way too much. There's no
Ooh.
way back in. Speaking of Kisame, you're gonna get the pushback here by Nora and get deleted again here by the side of Turkey. That's 27 kills we're talking about here. Arashi, 27 for Turkey, 10 minutes into the game. That is how proactive they are. And every time they try here, there seems to be an answer here by the side of Turkey. There's the links. There is the curse of blood, but there is no follow up here, and that just renders the ultimate useless here.
Ooh.
Man, even diving through just the rotation dispersion combo here from Deloy is just way too much to handle here, and you just get bursted down through whatever Turkey puts out as of this moment.
That Priceless just walks up and does a ton of AoE damage. Again, it's just everything coming out a bit too fast. If Serbia can kind of withstand the initial aggression, then maybe they have a chance. We saw the Curse of Blood earlier, kind of equalizing the whole thing. But the problem is if they want to try and use that as a winning solution, as a winning condition, they themselves have to find a way to kind of keep distance from each other. Because Priceless and Miko, even without the Curse of Blood, is kind of matching that AoE presence with the Blazing Duet and the rotation combo from Priceless. Mireia, though, I think she's one of the more flexible roles in this team right now. She can go for assassinations or she can go for a defensive play, but again, she just hasn't been using the empowered scythe too often right there. So she's just content making sure that she's playing the safe game, right? Either empowered chain to go for a big knockup, or empowered sword to get out more safely. Either way, she must have the sword available to try and get away from the sticky situations. But look at the way Serbia is playing. I feel like even if they want to stay in the base, they're staying away even from the walls on the sides there, because you know the diversion could be casted in the wall, and out of nowhere, the whole team from Turkey can just pop out of the wall somehow.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of too, since the inhibitor is gone down bottom and the Lord is going to be marching there. So there could be some huge play that could be made in the bottom lane. So you see how Turkey's already gearing up for that. You see Unohana clearing up the lane over at the top side so they can make some plays. They're a little bit scattered out in the map right now. So I think the goal is to pressure out at least the top and the mid lane here so they can at least take that and go full swing. Before we actually get to the exciting part here, Arashi, I'm actually curious. Between Unohana and Kisame, who do you think would win the matchup? Just really a very anime question right before we head to this Lord. You better answer.
I feel like it has to be Unohana. Even in this game, I think it's still Unohana as well. Now though, Turkey.
Okay. They don't go for the diversion play. They do go for the Eternal Guard and the Curse of Blood. Okay, it links 3 members in. Mireia gonna be diving right out. They're dashing right out. And the Blazing Duet here for Miko. Gonna try to clean up the work. Nora goes all the way in. Try to go for the bounce. But now it's going to be Nora punished instead. We see the members here of Turkey real low. Unohana going to go in for Kirby, but she's a little bit too tanky there. They're successfully able to defend their base, but there's going to be super minions coming in. There are some clapbacks here from Serbia. I wouldn't really say clapbacks, but more of like punishments given to Turkey every time they overstep. So I think for Turkey, they have to watch out for like overstepping a little bit too deep into the base there of Serbia. But if ever they decide to do so, they have to either really make sure that the Loi Priceless is all the way at the back, and then Miko just comes in when everybody is real low, and that's the best way to execute them. But right now the base is wide open here for Serbia. I mean, they could go for a split. There's so many things that you can do with this, Arashi. Like split push while you're trying to take in the Lord, because you just got a whole lot more resources here than Serbia. But I really like the attempt here coming out from Serbia. There's still, signs of life. They still come out from their base, showing us that they are still pretty much willing to take this fight, but it's going to be really deadly
Oh,
though. We're seeing a diversion play made here. It's going to be 4 members, and there you have it. It's going to be Jolie, the first target. Lena misses that penalty zone, and now from the backside, Bambi going to be the target here. But Miko, she's going to fall. Next is going to be Kirby on the chopping board. Lena and Kisame are the only ones left. Could this be the end of Serbia here for game number 1? That diversion play that we waited for the Lord. It's
oh.
not going to be enough. It's going to be Lena defending the base. Nora going to be locking in the tower as Turkey takes in game number 1.
Dominant showing as always from Turkey. And I really thought that they were gonna wait for the next Lord, considering the fact that they have very short-range heroes. Great AoE by all means, but Lo Yi, Julian, who else was there? Point is, it's all very short-range, mid-range, right? As opposed to
It's
the
so fast
roster
that-
coming in from the side of Serbia. I mean, you see, like the Yutong, even the marksman is a Claude, right? It needs to be all up close and personal. And usually the toughest part about a roster like this is cracking open the base, because you have to go in together in such a tight spot, and there's no ways to really surprise your opponents. But right there, Serbia kind of overstepped. They left their base, they left the safety of it, trying to find something, trying to find some security. And as a result, they get absolutely punished. And even from the early game, look at how well Turkey is juggling the tower aggro. And after a while, I really felt like they kind of decided it's just YOLO. It's just keep going for fights, because this fight here almost made no sense. I mean, the minion waves weren't even here yet, and then everyone funneled in one by one, right? It starts with Maria, and then Mieko, and then Unohana. They're just going in one by one right there, and even Priceless tries to make the diversion escape play. But at that point, none of this was necessary, right? It's almost like showboating.
Yeah.
And on the topic of showboating, I don't know if you'll see it here, but Mieko was kind of...
Yeah, Miko was also the one kind of like had to double think his decisions too, because the retribution came in and there was the shutdown. This was one of the most beautifully executed fights that I've seen, but honestly it was definitely Turkey that came up on top of the matchup, obviously because of the lead that they've had, and at the same time the great potential that this draft.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the IESF Europe Regional Qualifier 2024. We just saw Turkey just turn it up and just hardcore destroyed Serbia technically with the macro, with the tempo, the burst damage, showing again why that combo, the chip and the Loyi, is still very deadly in the right hands with the right execution. Now with that having transpired, what does Serbia want to do here? Do they want to try and mitigate the chip Lo Yi? Do they want to try and get like an exchange, right? Give up a chip, get a Lo Yi? Or will they be forced to ban it outright? And if they are going to be banning out 2 heroes now, in addition to their previous ban, it's going to be a bunch of heroes open for Turkey.
If you watch, since we were on the topic of anime, it just reminds me of like the Chip Loy. Just reminds me of like another thing. When I was watching like the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise, like there was this episode there. It's called like the Gate Guardians, and then you had it was like a twin duelist. So they were like, oh, you have to pick one path only, right? Like you can only pick one. So it's more of like the Loy and Chip is that kind of like deadly combo that you can only pick one, because if you give 2 it's just really way too much. And I think that just gave Turkey so much access to every single spot of the map that the side of Serbia wanted to be in, right? Like you see in the highlights as well that there were spots that they wanted to hide in, but there was some plays made there. Not only that, like there was just so much access that they could push in anywhere in the map actually. So it was just a very fast-paced game. I don't recall a very slow like team fight that ever happened in game number 1. So like amounting to like 30 plus kills, I was not surprised because Galoy and Chip were in the equation. So now I think they really have to take one out or either leave the other one open. But yeah, Serbia's gonna be starting it up with off the chip ban. They anticipated it, yes, but they did not anticipate the chip and Loy. I think they anticipated chip, not the Loy, because the two was just it's just way too much, way too much damage and way too much playmaking capabilities given to the side of Turkey.
And you have to remember, we talk about having options and how usually teams would want to have a defensive AoE tool and a aggressive AoE tool. So like a penalty zone along with a Minu and Fury. Now with the chip and Loyi, you have the same idea kind of, right? Oh, if we're caught off guard, we can immediately drop the portal. If we want to try and make moves on the map, we can go with the diversion. And that is what allows them to have such high tempo, because they were also using the portal to just go for plays that are already guaranteed, like a turning a one-man dive or two-man dive into a five-man dive, right? That's more guaranteed, and also if it's a dive, it allows them to take the turret altogether as well. And once they're done, they just go back with the portal. So that makes them travel. Even one single way with a portal is far enough, but they travel both times, so it's kind of elevated even more when it comes to just pressure around the map.
Wow.
For Serbia, though, they also banned away the Youth Song as well, so they're recognizing the threat here from Unohana for sure. We talked already about the Youth Song being so menacing. There's no different. Even with the portals, it doesn't mean that the Youth Song doesn't have a presence.
The bands here of Turkey are more centered around the frontliners, okay, the High Loss and the Carmilla. That was also something that could potentially threaten or that threatened the lineup there of Turkey for game number one. The Curse of Bloods, that could be a game changer, and we've seen some of the not really a wipeout, but like either they get two people down, three people down with the combination of the Eternal Guard. So Turkey this time will start it up with the Julian, and again, if a team picks this up first, usually you would see the Julian jungle usually in the latter parts of the game. But this time, Serbia is taking notes here, Arashi. They actually pick up the Loi this time for themselves. That's why they didn't ban it away. And they get themselves the Terizla here once again. So Turkey now can answer out without the Carmilla. So I think they need someone else to have the CC, perhaps like the Minotaur here, or maybe Tigreal. But the Turkey will go for the Valentina here. Great choice. Picking up the diversion, and the penalty zone is also available to pick up as well. Yep, we'll have to find out what Arashi's thoughts are about that, because he's actually super look at him. He's way too focused on the draft here of Turkey right now. He's probably like thinking for Turkey right now, or maybe like giving them some notes here, or maybe giving Serbia like some tips on what to pick up next. But now Turkey is looking really deadly here, honestly. You got a Valentina to copy in the Terizla here as well, so that's some additional CC. So it can mean that like this first lineup here of Turkey is already like super CC heavy. Oh, there you're back, Arashi. You're back right after we're done with the first drafting phase here for Turkey. That's very sus, because you were like staring right at their draft before that. So Serbia now going to be closing off the first half of the draft with the Clint again for Jolie. This was something that they picked up earlier, but again, the Clint, like what I mentioned, not much mobility. But this time, they got burst coming in the form of the Loy, a little bit more power to rotate around the map with the diversion. So I guess Serbia's comfortable with this, but they did pull off like different picks yesterday, like Popple and Koopa. So I think it's more of like them going for the pokes. But how can you play a Clint with a Ruby and a Julian here in play that can really dive on you?
A lot of threats for sure from the side of Turkey. And I feel like the threat will be leveraged not to the gold lane, but towards the mid lane, right? Unless Serbia actually gets some kind of protective tool to make sure, like, get a very good defensive roamer. As you can see, immediately the Mathilda, I assume the Minotaur comes in as a close second. They need people that can kind of keep this Loi alive and help the Loi out in the lane, because the Valentina is a very aggressive hero, and with the Julian in the picture, right? Even pre-level 4, I would say, there's just an insane amount of burst damage potential from the Julian. So if Serbia doesn't really get that good protection for the Loi, then they can just completely negate, Turkey can completely negate the diversion threat by just taking out the Loi. making sure the Lo Yi is stuck in the lane and or even taken out, right? And in that case, how are you supposed to go with a diversion play when you are still clearing and when your opponents are rotating already? So I think that's something that they need to try and secure. But actually, Serbia are the ones who actually ban away the Minotaur. So they're concerned about the counter engage potential as well.
Yeah. I was actually thinking of
Oh,
this as well. For the side of Turkey, I mentioned the Minotaur before you popped right in, and I was considering this option since I was saying that, oh, okay, they have someone to dive, but they still need like additional CC. So I think Serbia's just kind of uh, taking out all of their options. I mean, if they add one more hero to have that playmaking capability, it's gonna be hard, especially for again the Loy and Clint. The only way out is gonna be flickers or sprints. So now I think for Turkey, they can really amp up the aggression here by picking up another hard CC and maybe a marksman that can go with that flow. The Claude is already out, so maybe I'm thinking something along the lines of, because there's a Terizla here, it's gonna be difficult to pull off like an Ixia. Something that I really don't see, but I say this is a very underrated marksman, the Brody, that can really protect itself. Great for clearing. It also has that stun with its Abyssum Strike, with its second skill. So that's is something that can be considered. But now Serbia also beefs up their lineup by picking up the export. I'm gearing up for a fact that this is going to be the jungle, a jungler, because the Terizla has already been picked up. Usually being played in the XP lane, that doesn't really jungle that fast though.
well, we'll have to wait and see for what will Turkey use as an engage tool. Because right now,
Oh
wow, okay,
no,
never
here it goes.
mind. I thought they wanted the crowd control to ensure that they can go with the same game plan, right? Just nuke people down. But now with the Grok and the Benedetta, this is a very aggressive approach. The Grok and the Valentina in the mid lane, it just shuts down the roaming potential from the Lo Yi. And on top of that, the Grok will immediately go into the jungle. And even if you're an X-Borg, it's gonna be so annoying to try and like deal with the Grok constantly trying to steal your stuff using the power of nature. And with the potential of Onohana to just come through along with the Grok to try and go for an invade, especially if the Julian also comes through, the Grok, Benedict, and Julian, I think can take out pretty much anyone that shows up in the front. So if Serbia really wants to try and get at least some control here, they need one more front line because we've seen what happens when the Xborg is kind of forced to be the only one in the front. So
Whoa.
they go for the Kufra
Okay.
as a way to stop the Julian, the Valentina, the Ruby, and the Benedetta. So
Yeah.
it's more of a
Okay.
defensive Kufra pick. And if you have a low Yi diversion, generally you want to kind of combo it with some kind of playmaking tool.
Yeah.
Usually it's the Kaja, but I guess in this situation, the Kufra might be better just due to how much more value that bouncing ball
Mhm.
will have to stop all these dashes.
Yeah, especially for the Benedetta. And you're not talking about just any Benedetta. This is Uno Hana's Benedetta, and you've seen it
Uno Deta.
yesterday. Yes, Uno Deta. I like that. Let's call it Uno Deta for this game. It just fits. It's just perfect. I mean, you've seen how she played it yesterday, and it was just absolutely it's just absolutely brilliant. I mean, you've seen how she understands when to go in and disrupt the farm of the opponent, and at the same time she can clear out the wave. She's also assassinating the backline, so there's just a lot that she can check on her to-do list, even more so when she's the Benedetta. The Yuzo was banned out, but this time having the Benedetta just really gives you a lot more ins and outs from the team fight.
Definitely a lot more things to be concerned about, especially again with the low Yi. The Kufra will help whenever Serbia is actually ahead. But if they really fall behind due to the burst and the aggression in the lanes from Turkey, once they do fall behind, it's going to be very difficult for them to kind of stave off that aggression. I mean, the Tarizla can kind of step into that role, technically, kind of, but at the same time, if they do so, they're not really using their composition to its maximum potential. And that in itself is already a bit of a win for the side of
Oh
Turkey. As you can
wow.
see immediately, Benedetta Grok.
Yep. Yeah, they already cut the waves and went straight for the purple buff. And now Uno Deta as well as Nora. They're giving Kirby
You
such
got
a
it.
hard time here. Yep, super low. Uno Ana, Uno Deta is doing Uno Deta things as Nora will be able to pick up the purple buff. Again, denying that level. gap. It's gonna be a level gap rather here for Kirby and of course Mireia, who's already level 3. Man, that's 2 levels ahead. 1 minute into the game, and it's all care of Unodeta and Nora, who immediately cut the waves onto the XP lane and went straight for the purple buff. And now they're gonna do exactly the same thing. It's Priceless and Nora this time.
Everyone will kind of try and get involved right there. Kisame gets very, very low.
Priceless. Okay, almost gonna dash in with the arcane shade here, but now over onto this side, it's gonna be Kirby that just got in the level 3 as Mireia about to get in that level 4 right now. So with no toolkits to be able to fight up against this Grok, that's just keeping Mireia safe right now. So with this level 4, they can pressure out Jolie. They can even pressure out Kirby onto the lane here as she got in the ultimates here. And this should also force or rather give Miko the advantage here as well. And okay, looking at this, it is actually Miko going to be rocking in this Ruby on the gold lane. And right now, speaking of that, she does not have that level 4, but it is going to cause Kisame to have problems moving, of course, with the Don't Run Wolf King here. Gonna have from the Ruby. Right after that takedown, this should be much easier for them to go straight for the turtle and take in the resources along the areas as well.
And Nora is running the focusing mark as well, by the way, so it's still a very aggressive approach coming in. And look at how she's playing. Dive on the top side, now making plays on the bottom side as well.
Yep, Unodeta. She's going in and out of the team fight. And even Kisame can have her controlled. This is the turtle pit that we're talking about, but there's a heavy focus onto Miko. And then Jolie here over onto this side. They should be able to clear out that way. It's gonna be pet over to the turtle. There we have it. Half HP already for the turtle. Mireia gonna be working on that as the rest of the members of Serbia actually forced to back away from that one, as Mireia will be able to take in this first turtle without any contest from the side of Serbia.
I mean, the fact that Turkey also has like a fighter in the gold lane, by the way, the Ruby gold lane, you can see that Jolie is kind of struggling because, oh dang, wild charge!
Wow, wild charge, and that was just it. Deleted from the map there by Nora, and you're rocking in and the support emblem here as well. So enhanced damage if somebody has their hands or cause damage towards that hero. Level 4 already available for the side of Serbia. They're not going for the engager, but more of the pokes. As you can see, Turkey's a little bit more aggressive. Even though they're low, they're just willing to go in for these all-out team fights.
And still, Mireia doesn't really find the need to go for the empowered side, but on the bottom side, Priceless, along with Unohana, will be able to secure the kill onto Lina. She's not having a good time at all, man. And with that pressure, technically on all 3 lanes, you can see that the jungle is suffering as well. Kirby, still level 5 at this point, and once again, Mireia having all the space to go for the farms and go for ganks in between.
This is just giving Bambia and Kisame a hard time rotating, right? Because every single part of the map is taken control of here by Turkey as Kisame bouncing ball. Oh no, there's the Guardian's Barrier. Not able to get out to safety. And it's going to be Turkey picking up 5 kills here in the 4-minute mark as Mireia almost trying to take down 2 members. Fortunately, they're able to escape with the diversion play. And now the low E. Bambi! Getting taken down there by the Guardian's Barrier. In the nick of time, like Unodeta was going in for the combo. But it was Nora that finished the job. And they go straight here for the second turtle. I think Serbia's really having a difficult... Honestly, at this point, I don't even know if I were Serbia, like, where should I go? Should I go to the top side? Should I go to the bottom side? Because every single lane is contained by Turkey.
They should start in the mid lane because we saw one single diversion play from the mid lane, and it was kind of an escape diversion. So they have to try and make sure that they use that tool that they secured so painstakingly in the drafting phase to try and get something better. But look at Turkey, though, cutting off. Wild charge!
Wild charge! And of course, I am offended there by Miko. She's going to be able to sustain. But look at Priceless with the penalty zone of her own. They're really low right now. And they go all the way diving right into the turret. They go as Miko and Mireia as well on the middle. Going to be able to take down too.
There's even a double cut play here. Now Jolie, 1v1 by Mieko, immediately taken out.
What?
It doesn't matter. She's playing in the base.
Yeah, this is like a Lapu Lapu or a Uranus. You just go in the base, just life steal. You get an I am offended, you have the damage, you got the brave smite, so you really have nothing much to worry about at this point. Even the middle tower is gonna be going down here. Uno Deta as well. Just being extra slippery here. He's untouchable here by anybody at this point. Like even Kirby here is gonna suffer the petrify.
Ooh.
Does not have the last insanity and the penalty zone again from Priceless. Gonna be able to take down Lina as Kisame is gonna be the only one left. No one left to back her up as the enhanced shades come through. Nora tanks up the turret damage. And down they go. 3 members down. 14 kills for the side of Turkey. And Serbia has no answers to anything that Turkey has been showing. And even a combination like that, the flicker and the I am offended. Bambi, even with the flicker out, will not have any answers to that.
Turkey is just outperforming Serbia at every single thing, man. There's not a single win that Serbia has been able to secure against this composition, against this strategy. And even the front line, look at that. Priceless solo is able to just chunk Lina down to half HP in one single skill rotation. That is not how you want the game to go, and now Turkey are back at it again.
Okay, penalty zone this time coming out from Lina. Miko gonna get caught in the middle of everything in the last insanity. But here comes the enhanced shades and Uno Hana going in for the kill. Bambi as well as Priceless. And the rest of the gang will be tanking that up. She's gonna be recalling inside the enemy base. Jolie gonna try to outplay Mireia. But it's not gonna happen. Not unless Nora has anything to say about it. Outplayed.
Man.
And
It was just insane from Turkey, man. Mireia, again and again, always going for the right place at the right time. And there's nothing that Serbia can do. They're not really saving a lot of the spells because they can't afford to. We know that Kisame, deep in her heart, is probably wanting to kind of save that bouncing ball, wanting to save all those skills to try and make a play happen. But due to all the aggression that Turkey can just throw immediately at Serbia, you can see that they were kind of struggling to keep up, right? They're kind of struggling to ensure that they can kind of have enough spells to kind of keep the real threats at bay. The fact is that Unohana, Miko, and Mireia are kind of doing the same job at this point. And Priceless, when she gets the penalty zone, is actually doing the exact same thing too.
Yep, Nora. She's gonna be checking the bushes, and there goes the Guardian's barrier, forcing out the flicker from Bambi immediately. 8 minutes in, they've taken this lord. It's not even 9 minutes, and they've been clearing out the waves on the side here as well. So Turkey is gonna go for an all 3 wave push here to pressure out Serbia. And at this point, like I'm looking at Serbia here, the penalty zone's no longer enough. We're still waiting for Kisame to have that setup here. Even the bouncing ball at times, like she is the only one left, right? So Turkey, with the amount of domination that they've gotten in this game, 20 kills, whereas Serbia has only gotten in 1 punish there from Miko, who dove real deep into the base. The Guardian's barrier here is proving to be a threat here as well for an imminent threat of the wild charge. But look at Miko driving all the way in and gets the AM offended flicker to everyone, getting them all the way out to the base. But fortunately enough, Serbia, they're not able to get anything out of that one. And it's going to be Lina, bursted down there by the enhanced chase. Kisame going to be able to get one down. It's going to be Priceless, shut it down there. And now we see Mireia again going in with the double kill. It's going to be down to Bambi, Kirby, and Kisame left to defend this one. They're clearing out the waves. Bambi getting up. Man, I thought it was over as Mireia just keeps on going for more here. Just keeps on diving and diving as long as the enhanced shades are up. The shutdowns are coming through here for some of the players of Turkey, Priceless and Nora, finally. But for the price of the inhibitors, they're all gone here. There's only the base wide open here for the side of Turkey.
For Serbia, what can they do against this situation? They secured the shutdown, but look at the goal difference, man. Am I even seeing that correctly? It's like a
Yeah.
12,000 goal difference, and that's after the shutdowns, by the way. So,
Yeah.
man, it
That's how
must have been
far
even
it is.
higher earlier. Exactly. Serbia now they can have moments where they can get the pickoffs, we can shut down Priceless and Maria when they're going in aggressively. But the thing is, Turkey is doing a great job, kind of stuttering their approach. When you think that it's an all-in play, turns out it's only Priceless or it's only Mireia. And specifically with how Mireia is playing
Oh,
against
they might
Julian,
end this one.
yeah, she never goes in aggressively to the front. So she just uses these spells from really, really far away and stay safe. So even when Kisame makes a
Oh
play, it
no.
gets countered by the wild charge.
Yeah, the wild charge, the petrify as well by Urodeta. Bambi's gonna go down. Jolie and Kirby left to defend. The enhanced shades picks up a triple for Mireia. It's over. It's Turkey finishing the job in 11 minutes with a clean sweep for the series.
Asserting dominance here. Turkey completely dismantling Serbia. We thought that the second game might be even closer. There might be adaptations being made by Serbia, but Turkey says no. You thought you knew what we had in our disposal, in our arsenal? Think again. Immediately bringing out the Benedetta, immediately bringing out the Ruby Gold Lane out of nowhere, and that Julian is just an absolute menace. The synergy between them, knowing like which spell to combo with what spell at which moment. I'm willing to bet that the communication behind Turkey has to be so like neat and like proper, because they were just in complete sync. Even when during the most chaotic moments there, you still see big combos happen. Even though in theory, if you put the average person there, in a ranked game, they're gonna be yelling out like, "Whoa, what?" But Turkey is just calm, cool, collected, and that is what allows them to just get that amazing performance, man.
Yeah, man, it's been quite a ride with you here, Arashi. It's been like 5 days of pure European MLBB action with you. Any last few thoughts as we wrap up the European Regional Qualifiers 2024 here today.
I gotta say, man, these qualifiers have been a very pleasant event to really cast for, because you see everything in between, right? Experimentations, adaptations, defensive, aggressive. You kind of get a little bit of everything from both the women and the men's scenes. So I think it's been pretty fun, and we got jokes of our own. We got the whole anime talk sideshow as well. So
You know.
I have to say, I really enjoyed my time here, and I'm kind of sad that at least for the European region
Mm-hmm.
qualifier, it's kind of over for now.
Yeah, I mean it's been quite a ride. I actually enjoyed it so much. I didn't even notice how fast the days have passed, Arashi. And I think the comment section can kind of ride with us as well. They've picked up on the anime references that we've been making. And hey, those are the player IGNs, by the way. I don't know. You guys have to ask them if those have any connections at all. But you know what? On behalf of IESF, the entire production team, I would like to thank IESF for choosing to have us here. It's an honor. I mean, I've
Hmm.
also casted the Latin America qualifiers like in the previous year, so it's always an honor and a privilege to be able to cast for a different region to give you guys or to give me at least a glimpse of what MLBB like is in your country. It's always like a treat for me. So thank you so much for having
Agreed.
me and Arashi here. And on behalf of ISF and the production team, thank you so much to you guys for joining us all throughout the week. We're going to have a whole lot more IESF qualifiers. So stay tuned, keep updated on the IESF social media pages and the official website for more of the tournaments that will be upcoming here, because it's going to be an exciting road to WEC 24 this year. But for now, Arashi and I have to bid you guys goodbye. See you guys in the next IESF.